Welcome to game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Money Peak series, Impact versus Dayshi. And of course, the score at the moment you can see displayed here in the bottom of the screen, 2-0 for our Terran player, who is spawning in the lower left corner of the map, the orange Terran player from Millennium. It's Dayshi.
That is cool. Online.
Whoa, what? What was that void ray sound? Was that you?
The void ray sound? Yeah, that was me. In the top right, as the red Zerg, it is Impact.
You need to explain. Why did I just hear a void ray? What just happened?
It was a GIF.
No.
A GIF.
I just heard like prismatic core online. I'm like, wait a minute. Did somebody spawn Protoss as a mistake? What just...
And it came with void rays.
Yeah, I don't know. For a moment, I was just it caught me off guard is what it did. But at the moment, Impact currently down 2-0, guys. But it's not a big deal just yet. It's a best of 7, so first of 4 wins. He's got a couple of games to still go. But of course, Alter Zeme Stronghold might be a good map for him. This is a really fantastic map for Zerg players that can really... There are a couple different styles of playing Zerg. And, I actually really like taking his natural out here. This kind of goes with what I was going to say, where if you take all of the bases very quickly, it can choke a Terran player out quite badly. Alternatively, though, the downside of that is the more bases you take, the more vulnerable you become to drops, pokes, and harasses. And Dayshi's shown that his multitasking in the past can be quite fantastic, or whether he's just streamlining units across the map.
I really like what Impact does, because getting the third at the time you would get a third is actually really difficult. Unless you get it like super fast, like 3-4 pool. Because the Helens are out, you don't have a lot of queens down there, the creep actually isn't automatically spread down there, so you gotta like make sure your queens actually waddle over there. And it just, especially if they go for like banshees as well, that third is actually quite easy to snipe, or at least kill a lot of drones for. But when you actually have it already up and running and you have the queen down there, I like that a lot better. I think it's going to be a lot easier to hold against those Hellions when they come, or the Banshees too. And of course, now he has a little pocket base that's going to be able to mine out a lot later.
I apologize for the idle camera over the natural base of Dayshi, guys. I kind of got caught up in the whoops that you guys are doing in chat. I know there's a delay on the stream, but big shout out to everyone who... I love looking at chat and seeing people involved. Whether it's through our emoticon spam or whether it's whoops spam. You guys are awesome, and I want to thank you for joining us today. But one thing out of Dayshi, having gone Command Center first like this, it means you're not exactly going to have Hellions out lickety-split, which makes Impact's third base, or sorry, natural base being taken at the third, even better, even safer.
Yeah. And it's gonna start mining already. Doesn't need to fear anything, as he hasn't scouted Dayshi's base.
Fear the SCVs.
Yeah, but by now Reaper would be on its way. Yeah, of course he would have scouted first, but
one thing as well, just before we continue too far with this game, guys. I'm sorry. I've been making mental notes to talk about this more. Again, I just want to give a quick shout out to why this match is happening. Oh, sorry. Continue. I'll let you say your thing first.
God, I was just thinking, another reason to do that base out there is because you're hoping that SV never gets behind there, so he never knows that you didn't get a third base, leading to a 2-base all-in or something.
Ooh, that's actually an interesting point. It's kind of like when
but now he knows.
It's like when you hide your geysers too.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think that was revealed with the scout. Yeah, he did see the guys.
He still doesn't actually know. I mean, but you could wait, another 30 seconds for actually getting your third, and if he just never gets it, then Dayshi can't really tell unless he scans.
Well, before we get too far into the thick of the game, guys, again, we don't have sponsors for this series. We put this on, and I mean, a big shout out goes to Null, the guy who donated for this series, but the way Money Peak works is we take donations from viewers, and people have requests. Usually we get smaller amounts, like 20 bucks donated here or there, with requests of, like, I want to see a Terran, or I specifically want to see Dayshi, or something like that. And that's how we're able to fund these series. This is Showmatch Series number 5. I've had a great time doing all 5 of these so far, and I look happy to continue doing more in the future. This is not a drive to make you guys do donations, although if you feel like doing it, no one's going to complain. But I just want to explain, the reason we're able to put this on is thanks to you, the viewers, who assist us in able to produce this. So, again, this is about as community gets when it comes to show matches. And what is happening with this Millennium logo over here? Do you see this? It's what's that painting with the clocks? That's what it looks like.
Salvador Dali.
Salvador Dali, yeah, that one. The milky clocks.
Yeah. That is pretty funny. I don't think I've ever seen that. Impact's getting surprisingly fast Overlord speed. I guess he's going to be using that for easy scouting as the Overlord is in position. Unfortunately, it's not going to be ready by the time Blue Flame Hellions will be on their way to kill him.
I think it's kind of cute that he's done this as well on this map, considering how it failed. Well, I shouldn't say failed, but rather got scouted last game. For those who don't know the way this works too, a big part of the strategy for this is kind of banking up your Hellions beyond 4 or 6, because you're going to typically have 4 bare minimum at any point. Like there's so few TVZ strategies, unless you're Bunny, I guess, that involve not getting a lot of Hellions early on for map control. But the idea is you don't want your opponent to see the extra 7. But what Impact's done is you have that very fast Nubitized Carapace, so he's going to see this coming. And for Dayshi, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, I would have expected Dayshi to already be, you know, running away with those Hellions, but now it's revealed.
I wouldn't have expected Nubitized Carapace this early, honestly. There's very few players who would do it before layer tech.
I do like that Impact did that, though. I mean, he actually got good scouting last time, even without Overlord speed, but this guarantees that your Overlord's alive to check again later. You know, so you have to sacrifice a second Overlord to make sure that they're going for Banshees, and then a third one because they didn't get Cloak if you thought they did or whatever. It's just, you know, it was something that people were experimenting with a lot towards, I guess, the end of Wings of Liberty, maybe, was like whether or not to get, you know, an Overseer, wait for the Overseer, or go ahead and get that speed first, because you're going to need it anyways against the Widowmines.
I'm really curious how this is going to get utilized. Here come all those extra Hellions. Dayshi knew this was revealed, so he's got no problem hiding those, or not hiding those, because Impact's got the Overlord here. He knew this was going to be coming. He knows it's still coming. And I mean, the idea behind this is brute force. For those who don't know, again, if you're more unfamiliar with StarCraft 2 than most, Blue Flame only adds damage versus light units. Does not affect queens, does not affect roaches, but kills drones and kills lings like nobody's business.
Look at this fortification from Impact 2. Like, this is a good map because there's 2 open pathways to get in, but all the queens off to the left, the roaches off to the right. There's also walls for both sides, and a spine crawler.
Picks off about 3 SCVs, but this goes on to with a couple lings. Not too shabby.
Oh, this is no.
If he had done this, kind of like a hit with the left jab with a right type move, like send the Hellions in to distract and then run in with these Hellions to the main, I think that would have been far more effective.
Actually, almost killed a handful of drones right there, but just barely missed that last shot.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. But okay, lots of links here are going to find Blue Flame's Hellions to greet them, so they will just kind of nope the heck out of there. Although they didn't nope hard enough, as they will get caught.
Yeah, that's a lot of lings to go down. I mean, they weren't key in defense, so it's not like Dayshi can go and run and be like, oh, now the Hellions can do damage, because the roaches are still there, but
this means there's less Banelings coming out later, because there's less Zerglings to turn into them is problematic.
Yeah, again with the tank, Dayshi, he's actually going tanks. Like, this isn't a precaution. This isn't 2 tanks, because maybe.
Oh,
this
wow,
is actually
you're right.
going tanks.
Yeah, he swapped off for that second. You don't see this, guys. Like, he swapped off intentionally to the second tech lab. Normally, off of Blue Flame, you'll continue like leaving the reactor. You'll swap the reactor on the barracks, but you don't usually invest in that second tank production. This is really interesting because this is going to pay off greatly with the roaches that are coming his way. Now, unfortunately, the tanks are not down the ramp, so they're not actually going to be in range to cover this. But he shouldn't die to this outright. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, and you shouldn't lose that command center. Hey now. Okay.
I like
this
wrap
tank
around.
Fire, and he traps them as well.
A little bit of friendly fire might go off. Nope, no, actually backs way out of that. With the Marines on the ground, and I mean, this is where the investment is, right? There's stim that's been made into this. Marines, they got 2-2 on the way. The bio is still gonna be the focal point of this. But having invested in the Blue Flame, oh, did he cancel this? I thought he was making some Hellbats for a second. I would have loved to have seen a couple Hellbats.
I thought he was too.
Oh, he's going to.
Cancel it.
He's going to. He's just making the reactor for them.
Which is nice. I mean, Blue Flame is already done. Hellbats are becoming increasingly more common instead of just Widow Mines as the Widow Mine nerf.
Do you remember like Hellbats before they were nerfed too? Like they were a big part of even bio armies, but then that all changed. And now I guess with Blue Flame kind of making them the old Hellbats they once were, this investment ends up being kind of nice. We've talked about in the past too about how Hellbats kind of, they bring up the low end as far as like minimum damage you'll do. If you go for Widow Mines, guys, it's always cool because it's the potential you get like the sickest Widow Mine hits in the world, but also there's the chance that you hit nothing. So with Hellbats out, you're guaranteed to at least soak the Banelings. Bare minimum. You'll do a ton of damage before they go down. I like this choice with that Blue Flame investment. I like it a lot.
Yeah, the only downside is that, you know, Widow Mines don't really ever get those really great shots anymore, but they're good against mutas, and, you know, Hellbats obviously aren't. So, you know, if you run out of Marines, because you run out of Marines, and that does happen, you're not going to have those Widow Mines to fall back on to stop mutas, and that can be scary. Although Impact's muta count not too high, he's really focused on the ground army right now. Banelings rolling actually get good shot.
Now these poor queens, they're going to soak a little bit of hits here, but that allows the Banelings to try and wrap around. Tanks, unfortunately, left and abandoned. They will go down to a combination of Zerglings and queens.
I don't like that Dayshi just rolled onto creep like that. Last game was okay because he got a good fight just so happened, so he could push forward no problem on creep. But this time it should have been a slower push.
Oh, the cooldown of boost is almost up. He's got to get out of there. His defenses are lacking a little bit too. This is super unfortunate because while he's got a couple Hellbats out, there's only really 2 bunkers to hold on to this. And well, actually, you know what? Hold the phone. There's not that many Banelings left. It's a lot of Lings versus Hellbats. This is not going to work out too well for Impact if he over-dedicates to this. But, oh man, the Hellbats actually go down a lot quicker than I anticipated. And he actually lifts up the Thor. But, oh, the SCVs go down to some Banelings as well.
Yeah, big chunk of SCVs right there.
Oh,
Luckily, as you said, not enough Banelings to really, you know, hammer home and kill him.
And look
But
at the
Impact
+2
definitely
timing.
took a good lead. Yeah, right? I was going to say that too. Like, that was perfect timing from Impact.
Well, he gets in, he does enough damage and he backs away. And what's really nice too beyond this, guys, normally as a Zerg player, when you're playing Mutalist Banelings, a lot of the times you're coming up behind of the quote-unquote even engagements in the resources lost. But we look down here to the lower right, and Impact's actually leading in the resources lost. And wow, my voice went really high there. But, okay, a couple turrets will keep this base safe for now. It won't keep it protected.
Engineering base!
Oh,
Why?
almost repairs it. Oh, +3 on the way. Wait,
He cancels
he
one and
moves
puts
it.
on the other one.
I love that choice. There's the risk of
That's
this
so
first
funny.
engineering bay dying, but the second one's a lot safer. That's such a cool move, and it's such a subtle thing, but Dayshi is so good at this game, and that right there is one of the biggest things you can emphasize when you're trying to tell somebody how Dayshi handles his match.
Okay, the problem still is those not getting +3 armor anytime soon.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
actually, he's rebuilding it immediately.
Truly and honestly, let's be real though, weapons are going to matter so much more than armor will coming to future engagements. Being able to kill the Banelings slightly faster before they can connect to your army type thing, but 3 Thors are out now, and the reality is, guys, even if they don't splash damage versus the Mutalist, even if the Mutalist magic box on top of them, they've got so much damage versus light. The Mutalists are going to take a beating no matter what.
Yeah, and Daishi's really going for that, you know, Widowmine list style. He's really not investing anything into it, rather preferring to get a lot of Thors and, you know, maybe some Hellbats here and there, but mostly really
Oh, look at this
bio.
though. Reinforcement's going to get Banelinged upon.
Well, this might actually work out. They could detonate on fewer...
Or get picked off before they can touch anything.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's still
The thing
more
about-
behind this. And he's going to roll them into the third. There's a single bunker to kill these, and that's not going to be enough.
He sees it with a Marine. He sees it with a Marine. Pull the SCVs.
Oh no, he pulls them. He pulls them. Okay, he's going to be safe. He's going to be good. That's so many SCVs to risk losing. It's so scary, but ooh, a cute little burrow. I don't know if
Oh, he wouldn't have noticed that. He's not paying attention.
Oh no.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. No!
No! Oh my god, that if he had waited that scan! If that scan had waited a second longer, that would have killed all of the SCVs. Oh,
No, he killed SCVs, any SCVs at all, because he attacked them, actually.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he had scanned that as the SCVs were transferring
Oh
back.
god, yeah.
Oh my god, my heart just like skipped a beat, and I'm not even playing the game right now.
Oh, he actually takes a 4th that is not a planetary. Oh, that Overlord. That Overlord fired so hard.
That is kind of, it's bold, I would say, to say the least, with the amount of pressure the Impact's been applying. But again, guys, this time it's a lot more even footing. And beyond this, Impact's creep spread, and again, like, he's taken all the bases. I love that he's throwing down countless spine crawlers here, not to stop pushes, but to deter drops. I mean, if you drop 8 Marines on top of 2 spine crawlers, those Marines are not going to get a lot done, sadly.
No. Another counterattack into the
Oh,
third.
he's going to keep the
Well, he
engineering
did
bay
in the main.
alive! +3
Oh,
weapons
the
is so
third.
close to finishing. He pulls the SCVs. Dayshi! He's gonna save it. He should be good. He'll lose a lot of SCVs for this, but the +3 weapons is so critically important. More Baneling's gonna roll on by. Ooh, he actually.
He didn't get him.
He didn't. No, 29 workers killed. It was 26 before, so not too bad. This engineering bay will live. Dayshi. Oh man, this guy has got his priorities straight, to say the least. Meanwhile, huge attack from these Lings trying to get by, and as you point out, because this is not a planetary, huge risk having this base here.
And the bunker is so out there. Like, what is it ever gonna cover?
I don't know.
Not the
I guess.
SCV line.
Well, no. You know what? If Impact were like moving his Banelings in, there's a chance this gets the attention of them. If it's like an attack move or something weird. But
Chance, yeah, I guess. It's just, it's such an, I don't know. It's in the worst position possible, I would say.
there's one
Even though
really
it's
awkward
okay.
Baneling here too.
Yeah,
But,
did
oh,
get
attack
killed
on
by
the right side.
Hellbat.
Dayshi out of position at the moment. SCV's he's got to lift him up in the command in the medevacs.
Oh, lift him!
Oh.
He dove!
Command center goes down though. Bailey's still doing a ton of damage to buildings. Of course, if you can't hit the units, might as well go for the buildings. The other orbital gonna fall too. Impact really hitting Dayshi hard on the economy right
You
now.
know, though, even though he took down 2 commanders, which is absolutely fantastic, Impact did use a lot of links,
Oh,
but
there's-
never mind.
Ugh, he just he didn't lose a ton of that. The Baneling went off, but 51 workers dead so far. Still a lot of workers killed, and he's got to clean this up. Now, granted, he's got this base, and the main and the, let's be honest, the main and the third are probably the least prioritized bases, as they don't have a lot of mining going on right now. But this base, if he's so busy dealing with the Mutalists in the main, Impact may just run by and clean up that 4th.
I was gonna talk about how Impact could be susceptible to a counterattack, but you know what he filled up with all those lings that died right there?
Ultralisks.
7 Ultralisks. Now, Dayshi doesn't have an absolutely terrible composition against this. He's been building Marauders, at least one at a time, but it's still not the greatest. Actually, the Thor's gonna really help out too, so Impact can't quite, bowl him over as if it was just Marines and Widow Mines. Needs to be a little more careful about how he engages.
What I'm a little bit more scared of than the Ultralisk, honestly, is that pathogen glands that's coming out. That means infestors will be making their way onto the field, and spellcaster units are so good versus bio. Whether it's storms, whether it's fungal growths. Oh, okay. Lots of Banelings go down before that, but still plenty more behind this. And Ultralisk coming in en masse. These Thors are in a lot of trouble. He picks them up to save them. Oh, he's got to pick up everything he can. He needs every bit of his army. Dayshi knows this as well. Coming back home for the defense, though, I don't think he can do this zombie grub. The army supplies are looking pretty even. Both players on 3-3, but he doesn't have enough Marauders with this.
He didn't pay attention.
Oh,
this
actually,
is nice because the SimCity.
Yeah, he's beaten back by the SimCity. How many times have we said that? You got this big, badass Zerg unit called the Ultralisk. It's meant to destroy anything on the ground, except buildings, which, ironically enough, it was designed to kill in Wings of Liberty.
That's right, yeah, with its special power. So yeah, Daishi's gonna be able to hold. Like I was saying, he's still able to hold. It's not the best to go out and attack against him. There's not a lot of Marauders, but Daishi's fixed that, now producing 3 Marauders at a time. And, I think he really identified early on, after that really bad attack with the tanks, that he was going to have to play a passive game. He was going to be able to push out that often. And it's working out for him so far. He actually lasted longer than I thought he would after Impact's big counterattack that was doing so much damage.
You know what's kind of cute? Well, first I've got a Great Spire on the way, but I want to point out, this top left base has never been scouted by either player. Whether it's Impact or whether it's Dayshi, a base up there could be really, really advantageous. But Bentley's going to get cleaned up here by a combination of Marauders and Hellbats.
Well, they waste themselves on the Marauders and Hellbats, so...
Mutos haven't been fully cleaned up, though, is the problem. And while Impact's only got a small amount remaining compared to the 20 plus he had before, it's still such a nuisance for Dayshi to have to leave any amount of his army in the main to deal with this.
Yeah, that's true. Two drops were going off. I think that one drop was the one that dealt with the Banelings, and this drop, of course, off to the south, yes. I know my directions.
There's actually
some
3
tanks
medevacs down here,
also
too.
Popping out. Oh, there's 3, yeah.
Yeah, 1 to the north as well. So Dayshi finally going to be able to start taking the game under his control. He's going to put on a little bit of pressure himself, but the scary thing is, while these drops need to be dealt with, there's spine callers at these bases. There's enough to buy Impact the time he needs to respond effectively.
The mutas aren't anywhere near, though, and Dayshi knows that. That's why the drops are suddenly going to become so effective. Infestors, they can deal with them, but just not very NG efficient, I guess
Look
you
how
would call
quick that pickup was, too, by the way. Dayshi all over the map. Make sure he only loses 1 Marine from that. He'll take out this hatchery towards the far north. Picks up a majority of the Marines here that were dropped. Again, these were not full medevacs when they came out. And oh, this is scary. Here come the fungal growths. These Marines are so screwed. Doesn't even need them.
I really did not expect Dayshi to last this long, and I kind of want to blame the switch to Ultralisk. I think if Impact had remaxed on just Baneling Muta Ling, he actually would have been able to attack again.
If he'd gone for that...
Though,
whoa, hang on. 6 Broodlords. So I thought that Spire was like just in case he wanted to do this, but he's intentionally going for Broodlords in the middle of the map. And this is going to be interesting because as we get further into this, guys... Well, it's just... Oh, it's so weird. Broodlords Infestors.
I don't like Broodlords, actually. I don't ever
they're
really
not
like
as
Ultralisk, but
they're not as
Broodlords
cost
on this
effective.
map.
I mean, sorry, continue.
Well, they're not as good as they were in Wings of Liberty. That's because the Infestors aren't. But like on this map, it is so wide open, and Dayshi has effectively gone far enough that it's kind of evened up again. That drops are going to be a very easy way to come back into this game. And Impact goes for the slowest unit ever.
That and combined with the fact no adrenal glands are invested in this game. So these lings, these birdlings are going to be whatever, but the less effective thing, and I'm sorry, I don't know why I was trying to talk over you before, my bad, but there's no Swarmos. Swarmos are like the most cost effective when it comes to free units. Broodlords are okay, I guess, but what Daishi's had, you just stim underneath this, you drop underneath this. I mean, the Infestors are going to be the big zoning mechanism.
Stimming under them probably not the best idea until the Banelings are all gone, but
that's true.
He has Vikings out. He got 2 more starports, and there aren't any corruptors. There's queens, but they are off, so they can't actually, Broodlords can't do what they're doing right now.
They're actually going to transfuse the heck out of these. There's enough energy on these queens for like another 16 transfuses. The Ultras trying to do it again. The transfusers need to go on these instead of the Broodlords, I feel. But coming from behind, a fungal growth will lock these units in place, and he's trying so desperately to kill these Broodlords.
Look at the full surround almost that Dayshi had. Unfortunately, it might still not be enough.
It's going to be close. There's still a lot of Marauders on the ground. If he takes out the Broodlords, he can deal with the Ultralisk no problem.
It is going to be enough.
Wow.
Dayshi takes that engagement, coming in from 4 sides, having the Vikings just at a key moment after scouting the Greater Spire with that drop.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, Impact's bank, though. My god.
Alright, well, really well handled here so far. He's even trying to think of another expansion while this is going on. 10 more Ultralisks on the way, 66 more Lings. I don't know why. I don't know why the Ultralisk dedication. It's good to have some, but I don't think making 10 is going to be the right call at this point in the game, because he's seen that even with Broodlords and Fungal Growths and Queens, Dayshi can deal with the Ultralisks. So, I mean, this is, I don't know, not a bad choice, don't get me wrong, but it's a strange choice to say the least. Lots of Infestors come down, barreling down the middle of the map, lots of Lings to associate with them too. I mean, this game looks really overwhelming in the favor of Impact, guys, but look at the army supply right now. Daishi's actually leading.
Oh, those Vikings need to be careful. If he... Actually, I don't know if Impact's really going to go for Broodlords again. He might just want to lose those and fill up supply later.
I think that was Daishi's mentality too, having them on the front lines like that, trying to bait them out. But ooh, Banelin's going to go off on the Thors instead of the bio behind them. Vikings do land on the ground. Oh my god, the hot cinematic as the Vikings are getting trampled by the Ultralisks.
Yeah, he tries to pick up, realizing that he does not have the position that he maybe thought he did. And a counterattack, or rather a drop, is doing nice damage over here, but can he hold on the front lines?
Killing a couple of workers is not going to count. And oh, he's rallied these forward instead of actually controlling them. Lots of units in the medevacs right now, too. He needs to make sure these do not get fungled. He's got to unload on the high ground. He's got to lift that depot up. And if he doesn't, he's going to have to make the best choke of his life. But this is looking pretty scary.
Yeah, that attack, I can't believe he held as long as he did, really, and he was getting a really good bank, but that...
Well, actually, there's no more energy for Fungals. If he, it's a big if. It's a big if. If he can hold this off, though. Impact doesn't have a lot of pushing power behind this.
If he had like 20, 30 more supply right there, he definitely holds, I feel, especially on the top ramp.
Yeah. Well, this is looking bad for Dayshi, but good for Impact, guys, because, of course, let's not forget he's been down 2-0 at this point. It looks like he's just been able to turn around on one of the biggest maps of the pool, and I think this actually, there's Habitation Station beyond this, and then it's all new maps from there, so that's kind of exciting to consider too, but it's not over just yet. Daishi's not giving up. He's still got drops going off. I mean, rightfully so. It's not like he's stubbornly staying in this game. He's sniping off hatcheries. He's going to kill this top left one as well, for sure, eventually. Noodles do pop out, though, and looks like he will actually be cleaned up, and all Dayshi has now is floating orbitals, no production, and the Ultra's camping what little there is.
There's not really any shame losing on this map either. Like, if you're going to give a map away, it's the biggest one in the map pool.
Oh, man, what a good game. What I mean, the thing, too, is, like, I don't want to sound like I'm riding Dayshi too hard on this, guys, but the reality is, he played that really well despite losing. Impact just played a little bit better. So, I mean, big congratulations to Impact. Puts himself back in the series now 2-1, and it's going to be Daishi's map pick.